We're good.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead, me and Joe, we're going to go through this computer, kind of talk about some of the parts up to it, put it together, and then turn it on. And kind of, as we do that, we'll talk about what each part does. So if you come in and we'll look inside here. So inside this computer, you can see there's a motherboard.
Another optical drive.
This is where everything kind of connects together, all the different parts that that the computer needs to work, kind of connected into the motherboard here. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about are these this is called RAM. It's kind of like a short-term memory. When you're using a program, this is where kind of the program would be stored to be the kind of short-term things that you're doing.
Look at our fingers.
Without the RAM, you wouldn't be able to access.
Enjoy the video.
You wouldn't be able to really function.
And the more RAM you have, the more basically the faster and the more things you can do at the same time. The more applications you can have going at the same time.
Exactly. And so these plug right into the motherboard. This is called it's the DDR slot, and that plugs right into here.
Like your workspace, your short-term memory.
Supposed to plug right into there.
That's what you're using to run those programs.
And then these white things just kind of clip in there and hold it into place. And if you look, there's a little slot that you can use to kind of make sure you got it in the right direction.
Yeah.
Okay. And then next, we're going to talk about the ROM.
Why is it that side? I don't know. I hate
Remember where the ROM is, Joe?
Yeah, so the ROM is basically just built into the motherboard, and regardless of taking the hard drive out or anything, it's still just with the computer on the motherboard.
Awesome. So that's what the ROM is, and then we've got our hard drive right here. The hard drive, we kind of think of as storage. Anything that you want to save for a long term on your computer, you would store onto your hard drive, and you kind of access that when you need it. So all the information you ever want on your computer, you can put onto your hard drive, and whenever you need to use specific information, you grab it off the hard drive.
All right, that was super long. So that's the RAM. That's like your
fit that in here.
Your fridge. So you have, when you use programs, this is what's accessed. It's the random access memory. The processor, which is underneath here, is what is like everything goes through that. So the RAM, the hard drive, everything goes through that. Hard drive is your long-term memory.
So it kind of just plugs right in here.
This is where everything is stored. And
it isn't being activated.
It's not constantly being activated. So let's get the rest of this power hooked up.
Okay. And so that's the hard drive.
Panel.
Next thing we're going to talk about is
another panel connector.
The graphic or video card.
Okay.
We actually don't have a slot for it in ours, but I'll go ahead and share some about it. Kind of just using this card that we have here.
This is just an extra
So
connector.
there are a few different types of video ports here. We've got the this is the S video. It's kind of just an old standard port, and then we've got DVI, which is digital video input, and then actually on our motherboard we have our VGA down here, and so there's just a few different ways to connect your video up from your computer. Like I said, this one doesn't have a slot for the video card, but yes, that's how that goes. So we just have this one right here. And then
cylinders here. Okay, so now this is the video card. You're going to put it into the expansion slot.
So next we have.
You could do this one, the optic drive.
The optic drive. So this is, it's called the optic drive. I always used to call them CD-ROM or DVD-ROM. It's basically what you use to input like your CDs or information through a disc, and that just goes right up in here.
And I think we're good. So let's stop the video and then we'll put the rest in.
And then yeah, these just plug right in there.
Okay. Now we gotta put the shell back on. It's raining, man. I know. Like, for whatever reason, did not want to.
And these cables, they're called SATA or data cables. And then there's also a cable called the serial cable. We don't have one here in this computer. It kind of looks like this one. It's just a little, but it's double. 2 blue wires. And usually that will plug into the hard drive. And then a couple other things that we have in here. And while we're looking at this, the processor is actually underneath here. And the processor is kind of like your mind of the computer. It's kind of helps send information or take information from the hard drive through the RAM, and then you can actually run your computer.
The clips are kind of
so everything that you do in RAM has to be sent to the processor back to the hard drive to be saved, and vice versa.
Right. So we finished the video. Like the longest part of the video is us trying to.
And we've got here the power supply.
Clicking in, right?
Look at it. And everything needs power, so things have to connect through to the power supply. So speaking of that, we've got the power supply that goes to their optic, the CD-ROM, the optical
that was the only
thing. There. And then if you actually look under here, we've got our fan here, and that's a cooling system to make sure that we don't overheat right in here.
Good.
Oh, okay, here we go.
So
That little guy.
there's the fan. A couple other things. The network card.
There isn't one.
There isn't one on these ones.
On these computers. Well, I think it's built into the motherboard as well.
And then a couple of these slots that we haven't gone over yet. The whole this whole system is kind of called the bus, but individually, these are these are expansion slots. These specifically,
those are the PCI buses, right?
PCI buses, yep.
Yeah.
And so there's multiple things that you can add to your computer to make it better, video, audio, stuff like that. And those kind of slots are there for that. And then that's about it. We've got a couple other ports to go over. These are the USB ports. It's the form of input and export or output to be able to put your USB devices in there. We've also got the Ethernet port where you can plug the Ethernet cable into, and then I believe that's all of the things here. So we're gonna go ahead and finish putting this together, and then we'll get started.
Power source. I don't know if there's a power source.
Do we have a power source somewhere?
You don't know, you got the box.
That just clips like that.
That's all we need.
We're missing a video card. Putting down the video card.
But right here, what we've got going.
And then
Video card in.
we need to get a plug for the computer too.
Motherboard in.
Okay.
There's a box over there.
Okay, do you want to just pause it and we'll get those together?
Okay.
Go.
Okay, so now that we've put the computer together here, we're gonna set it up and get it running. So we just plug in the main cord right there, plug that into our wall, power source, and then we're gonna hook everything in, like the monitor, keyboard, and mouse. And so it's really simple. I talked earlier about the USB ports, and so things like the mouse and the keyboard will hook into that. And then we need to plug in our monitor as well. And then we need to connect the monitor to the computer using one of these video cords. there's a spot down there. Let's see if I can even show you. There's a slot where the monitor plugs in as well. So now that we're plugged in, we should be able to turn it on and get it going.
Okay, and then we've got also the keyboard. Is the keyboard plugged in? Yep. Okay. Okay, so let's see if we can get it.
So let's see how we did.
Oh, it's on.
This is the BIOS, the information that comes up that's stored on the computer itself, but that isn't the
operating system.
Operating system. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And so, let's see. Do we need to install the operating system? Do you want to pause it?
Yeah. Good.
Okay, so it came up. We've got the operating system on there. It's a Windows 7, and so that's the video of us building a computer, and now it would be able to work properly.